Woof! Welcome everybody to What Sold in January on Two Dogs Digs Live Hall Pass for a Tuesday night. Hope you're having a fabulous beginning to February, especially those of you who may be in nicer weather, and hope you're all hunkered down for those of you in Eastern Canada who are buried under like 20 feet of snow. That's ridiculous, the amount of snow that's out east right at the moment. Today is our monthly check-in on things that have sold over the past month. Our first month of flips. And we're going to show you stuff from Etsy. We're going to show you stuff from eBay. We got some great stuff that the members of the craft group have come up with. So we're going to show you a whole bunch of really fabulous things that hopefully will give you some ideas on things you may never have thought about looking for when you go into a thrift store, or you go to an estate sale, or you go garage selling, or anything like that, for those of you who may be able to still garage sale in the sunnier climes if you're watching us. As usual, we have a plethora of well, it's not a plethora, we have two guests. I guess that's a plethora if you normally have just Rick. So our guests tonight are
Hey,
Carl, the lazy reseller from Ottawa.
Hey, everyone.
Fun for Adrian, who had a bad day and said he's not sure how today will be on the show.
Sure.
And down in the basement, we have These Are Not the Droids You're Looking For, which I will explain to start the show. The starting of the show is literally 10 minutes before the show starts, I get a click on my phone, a message on my phone on eBay, and it is someone who said, "Thank you so much for the Star Wars playset. It's not the one I ordered. Perhaps you could send me the one that I ordered."
Oh, no. Oh, well.
So
I'm
said,
more of a Star Trek guy. How can I spin this?
I said, "Oh, holy Hoth. You mean those aren't the droids you're looking for?" In my little message to him. Luckily, he was a really friendly person. And I said, "Oh, Richard." Shannon's on the phone. No.
Something similar happened to me last week. Something happened to me last week. I got a positive message on my feedback column from a lady who bought a doll. She goes, "The doll is more beautiful than I imagined. Thank you so much for the surprise earrings and necklace." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So
did you send her earrings and necklace?
I don't have any earrings or necklace in stock, so I don't know what she found in that box. But surprise!
Carl, how about you? Anything interestingly? Have you said something wrong or given someone a gift they didn't expect?
Yeah, today. Yeah. Oh, I've done that too. Yeah. I've also gotten bad feedback for like things where I didn't send them what they thought they were getting. So I've had that equivalent thing, which is great. It's like, I didn't send you that. That wasn't me. But yes, I've also said the wrong thing and all that stuff.
I haven't done it in a while.
No. And then, no, he hasn't. And the funny thing was, he hasn't done it in a while. And then the last thing he did it to was this set of action figures that we have called Fireteam Zero. And literally today we sold some more Action Team Fireteam Zero. And I had to say, after I saw this, I went, "Remember, look at the Action Team Fireteam and make sure you're sending the right set down." And he goes, "They're all gray."
Close enough.
Close enough. So
normally my technique for trying to avoid that is to put things that are that similar in different inventory boxes.
Smart.
So that if I go by the inventory box number and it's the only one in that box, the chances are it's the one I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I didn't do that in
no drinking or smoking.
Well, I don't drink. I don't smoke. I sleep a lot.
Adrian doesn't smoke, but no drinking when shipping is never going to happen over there. Big hi to everyone. A special hello to Shanna, who just joined us on our Kennel Club. Thank you so much for supporting us, Shanna, here. Who else have we got that's in here? We've got Janet and Kathy. We have Allison, also known as Kendra, Heather and Bob, Jennifer, Sherry, Mr. Joel down in Niagara, Diana, hello. Heard that. Greg. Who else we got? I think Tina. I think it's that Tina, but who else we got in here? Just make sure. Holly's here. Lisa, yay! Vinyl Mine, hey, thanks for popping in again. Andrew, hey, just sold a very large tackle box. That'll be shaky. Like, you're gonna have to wrap. Oh, is it just the tackle box, or is it everything else that's in there? Elisa, hey. Let's see who else. I just want to make sure. I like trying to make sure it's at least try to say Miss Lisa Boland, Tina, Kevin, Michael. Yeah, Dawn is late. Well, you're usually late, Dawn. That's okay. We still love it when you're here. It's Sarah. Hey, Janet, Hydron. There, I think I caught up to everybody. Thanks, everybody, for joining us here. So, again, today is all about January and what we sold. And, again, there's a couple of things we're going to talk about today. First, Carl and I are going to go through a bunch of stuff that we sold on our normal sort of eBay, Etsy platforms. Adrian has got a really interesting group of stuff that he sold on eBay, but it's going to be a combination of look how he sourced it and then look what he flipped it for. And then we have a great number of stuff that the folks in the craft group, the Canadian resellers or crazy resellers and fantastic thrifters group, gave us as examples of stuff that they sold over the month of January. And my God, I am so freaking impressed at the breadth of what people sold. The prices on what some people sold stuff on, it's just, it's like, oh my God. I kept opening things. Wow. So I think this is going to be a really great show. But overall, I'd start off, obviously, it's the month of January. How did you both do in the month of January overall with your sales? Carl, you want to start?
Okay, I'll start. Yeah, it's good. It's great. Like January was really good. It's still continuing now actually. So I'm very happy. Usually I find it slows down January. And it did a little bit, but compared to the last year, I'm actually up. So I finally got out of that hump of like I had decreasing sales for a long time. It kind of helped when you list stuff. It turns out, yeah, that helped a little bit. So yeah, no, I'm really happy. My average sale price is up as well, and I got rid of some of the big stuff that I had hanging around here too. So no, it's all good.
Adrian, how was your January?
Fantastic. I'm a small operation. I do this just to support my toy buying habits, right? And so I average about between $500 to maybe $900 a month normally. But in January of this year, I did close to $2,000.
Nice.
Most of it from one purchase.
Unfortunately, Joel says January was his worst month in a year. You do have some interesting stuff you did sell, though, Joel. Hey, Tatiana, thanks for popping in. And Elisa said no sales for 10 days, but today she sold a rare Jimmy Buffett tour poster for good money. Yay. So Sometimes that's all it takes, though. It's just that one extra little thing. Don says January is blah, but still much better than last January. Mm-hmm. And this is great, Diana. January was your best month in a long while. That's great because
me too. Yeah,
you've been really trying to push some stuff through. So really happy that you got that way for you. From our standpoint, we actually thought it was a bad month, and then looked compared to December. It usually goes way down. But when we looked at it at the literally like earlier on today, because I usually don't look at those kind of things that fixated, we did drop about 40% of our December sales in January on eBay. We dropped from close to over 5,000 to 3,000. And that's US. But the interesting thing was we sold, kind of replaced that income. We sold $500 on Etsy in January. Mostly from using crossless magic on eBay items. I preach and I preach. Actually, Joel sold something from literally on Etsy using crossless magic too. So even though it wasn't a bad month, he still used crossless magic and made a sale. We had nearly $1,000 on Whatnot after being off of it for over 6 months and just popping back on. We had a couple of sales with nothing, and then on Whatnot, and then we had like a $400 night and a $300 show and a $200 show and then a $10 show and then a nothing show and then a $200. It's like it's all over the board. But we usually go on to Whatnot, and if we have no sales after being live for basically 15, 20 minutes, we just say, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again. Look for another one of our shows. We've read there's people who sit there for 3 hours and go, I've seen in some groups, well, I don't normally get anybody buying anything for the first 2 hours of my show, and then it picks up. And it's like, you do realize those people were just never there when you started? Like, yeah. It's not that you've been on for 3 hours and people went, oh, I feel sorry for that person. They've been on for 3 hours. I should go shop from them. It's just people are tuning in that literally at that time. We're actually going to do a show later on in February all about Whatnot again. We've got a Whatnot seller from Canada, and we'll have a Whatnot seller from the US, and we'll have ourselves to talk to you about how you can do Whatnot in the various different ways that you manage it. So somebody's going to be on here who's really successfully doing it on Whatnot from Canada and selling into the US. So that's where we're going to end up. Hey, Cameron, thanks for popping in. Lisa sold a mug. Yeah, a Christmas mug. January is a good month for Heather as well, but Elisa's down 40. Here's the interesting, funny. I guess that's the reply on the Christmas mug. So much Christmas in January, way more before Christmas.
Yeah, I hear Christmas really sells all year round.
It really does sell all year round. That is extremely true as something that it does. So let me just see if I can figure out what this is. I think what we'll do first is we'll pop in a few different places. But first, I'm gonna hold off on Adrian's little big sale thing. Carl and I are gonna talk a little bit about a couple of things that we've sold in the past month on our platforms. Let me see if I can find one of mine first to go with. I like showing you guys whenever we sell something that we've talked about on the show and shown you. So these aren't necessarily impressive sales, but as Carl said, we're trying to move our average selling price up. So we're trying to find things that flip for a good $20 or $30 profit. Now, I could have held out. I only bought this less than a month ago. You may recall, I think it was in a Thrift or Throw It. I might have even shown it. It was the Night Circus. It was this little single-person teapot. I saw people listing it for $50, but I listed it for $35 and sold it literally within like 2 days after I listed it. And this is one of the comments that we're talking about right now in the Facebook group as well, is the sort of 20 and 29. We want to see you try and do 20 sales of profit pile or slow listed items in the next 29 days, in the month of February. We got 29 days. We want to show you, we want you to try and sell 20 things. I could have put this at $49 or $50. I don't know how long it would have taken to sell. So I gave up $10 or $15. Very true. But I flipped it really fast. Caribou, remember I talked about this too. And somebody actually asked about, oh, that game still doesn't sell, does it? Yep, it does. For $50 in under a week. This game is still, you can find this game all over the place. I listed an English and a French one, and the French one hasn't sold yet. That's probably going to be a little more difficult. But the English one sold again in under a week for $49.
That's
so
great.
I could have priced it another $10 higher. But I tried to make sure I was coming in at a level that was really like could hit people at. Sometimes you do take risks on things. You may recall this from about a year ago, maybe longer. The fabulous Barbara Cartland.
There we go.
Waddington's romance puzzle.
Okay.
Look, Adrian's undoing his shirt. It's getting him so excited. There, look at it. We listed this, and again, this is questions because everybody always asks. We list this puzzle. We never made the puzzle. We did not build the puzzle. We sold the puzzle for $50. We bought it for like $5 because I'd never seen a Barbara Cartland something, and I figured somebody was going to be a Barbara Cartland fan, and they may not even care about the puzzle. They may just want that book like in front of it on display with all their Barbara Cartland stuff. we got positive feedback on it, and we don't know if it was complete or not. Because that's the thing about jigsaw puzzles. It says 550 pieces, but some jigsaws are not anywhere, like they're 548, 550. It depends on the cut. So unless you're going to build it, still sell it. There's no reason you can't sell it. And you still may be able to get good money for it. But if you have a puzzle, what? Sorry, Carl?
I was just saying, I sold a puzzle as is, not counted, not done, and anything for 150. Old Ravenberger one.
Yeah.
5,000 pieces. Like, I'm not doing this, but it's still worth good money. So I put it in listing. No idea if it's complete. Assume it's not. 150 is a lot. Yeah. So these.
And there's a puzzle you did sell.
Yeah, this one is sealed though, and like I wouldn't have touched it if it wasn't sealed. To be honest. Yeah, there's a little damage to the sealing. I always try to show the seal, like even if it's damaged. And yeah, it was worth checking out.
$109.
Yeah. I was happy with that.
Tower.
Yeah.
I often find these Puzz 3Ds sealed.
Oh, really? I find them occasionally, but not that often.
Well, I don't mean like every week. I mean like every few months, every 2 or 3 months, I seem to find one of them sealed. I do find them sealed, and they aren't worth buying. So you really need to look up which one it is, because some of them, they try and get usually $10, $15 for a sealed one. And some of them only sell for $25. But when you can find ones that are of iconic things like this Petronas Towers.
Yeah, or Twin Towers are worth a lot.
Yeah.
Worth more than this, I believe. But yeah, no, I was happy. It was nice and easy, you know?
Yeah.
Put it in a box, off it goes. Yeah.
Peek here for a second. Andrew's got sales up 100%, especially because you haven't been listing as much as you need. No, that's still good. And Tatiana's looking forward to the Whatnot show. Well, again, I think a lot of people are afraid of it, and you really don't have to be afraid of it. Sherry, who may be in the chat, I'm not sure, was afraid of it when she started it, and now she's doing a show like every couple of weeks on jewelry, and she's doing okay. It's one of those things that's really it can be really good to do. I'm not sure. You're far from $10,000. Well, we're not at $10,000 either, Allison, but we're still trying to make our way through. I'll go through the yeah.
Kendra's comment was related to eBay, Etsy offsite ads.
Oh, okay.
He sold a set of books and was charged $36 for the offsite ad. So there's a little bit of chatter in the chat about offsite ads on Etsy.
That's all. Okay. There it is. It was charged $36 because it sold as an outside ad. Can we turn this on or off? Oh, yeah. And then Lisa's comment: if you hit sales of $10,000 with Etsy, you're stuck. It's in there as part of what you do. But if you're not, if you don't have the 10,000, I believe you can turn it off.
Yeah, you have to manually do it set as on. Yeah. I've heard quite a few people get whacked with that fee and not expecting it.
I guess my one question that I would have is, if you got charged $36, how much did it sell for? Because it's hard to look at that, Allison, and understand if it's if it was a $500 set of books, is $36 worth it for you? That would be my one question.
It was a $37 book.
If it was a $37 book and you got charged $36, run away.
Right, that's not much fun. I'm not sure why they would not warn people more. Well, you think you'd want more repeating sales than making your sellers upset. But
yeah, well, we've actually sold a number of things on Etsy to guests, and the only reason a guest is finding something is from an Etsy pushing her ad in a Google ad.
Yeah, as long as you have the choice. Like, it's like,
right.
And
we've never been charged $36, but we sold $100, $200 items that we're looking and going, oh my God, this is not a regular Etsy person. This is a guest, and they've come in.
Yeah. It's like that's the promotions are.
Oh, so $240. So that's 15%. That's not that much more above what you would normally be paying. So you would have paid probably 12%. Lisa's saying you probably would have been paying like $24. It was only another $8 that you paid. You don't pay double though. And the fee also covers the shipping charge. Yeah, that's it. True on everybody. Let me pop into another one of Carl's fabulous sales. PC Insider. I stay away from train sets because they're so big, but
these were sealed.
Another sealed one.
Yeah, I got this one. Whole bunch of these all at once for auction. I paid up a little bit. I think I paid $35. I think all in. But this one's not sealed. Yeah,
okay. I was gonna say that's unsealed. Are you unsealed?
Yeah, no. It's funny because I have a whole bunch, so I thought it was one of those. This is actually one of the ones I put up a while ago. And I just I was sick of staring at this thing. I think it had dust on it for a couple of years. It's kind of like the idea of okay, just get it up. Worry about the having to ship it out, because that was what was fearful for me. But I went to Fragment Box it, and it wasn't that bad. I've sold 2 train sets since then, I think. So it was the fear was in the unknown rather than in the doing.
But again, the point you made there, and that is again, it's part of the points that I was trying to make in January, and I'm trying to re-stress again to everybody who's a reseller in February, is it's not about shopping. It's about get the stuff out of here, get it out of your headspace, clear free room up in your storage, but free room up also in your head and free room up in your wallet. Because if you had these things and they're big and they're taking up space, I literally just sold a couple of Monster High dolls that I bought from Mattel Creations, and I am making exactly what I paid for them because I didn't want to wait and try and figure out that it was just not enough of a retail arbitrage for me to try and make an extra 10 or 15 or $20 on. And I had 4 of them, and literally every one I listed, I sold within 20 minutes after I posted it. I now have $400 back in my wallet that I had put out on items, and the items are now gone.
What I hate is when you sell something, you're really happy it's finally gone, or you sold a big number, and then you go to the information page and you see, oh, it's this person who lives in rural Brazil, or this person who lives in the outback of Australia. They have to get there by llama or camel or something, and so you punch it in, and then the postage just goes through the roof. And then you have to write them and say, this is going to cost way too much money, more than what I quoted, because you live in the middle of fucking nowhere. Sorry, middle of nowhere. And that's happened to me a lot. I think the guy from Nova Scotia who bought some toy soldiers from me.
Yeah,
he lives literally on a lighthouse in the middle of nowhere. It's like, dude,
I've had that happen too. Yeah,
ship it to some post office box in the nearest town to you. Like, oh my God, you'd save yourself like $50.
I think Greg's comment is your F comment was exactly what Greg was doing. Exactly. Well said.
Yeah, I've sent things to New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. And it's like $25 to send a remote or something. It's like $25. Yeah. But there's no solution to that, I think, within Canada.
No, there's actually, it's very hard to find the proper solution to that. I mean,
But Chit Chats in Canada, their prices dropped so much in Canada. It's really been great for the East Coast.
But every once in a while, again, you get that northern Yukon person, and it's like you quoted a flat rate or something like that, and it just becomes like, oh God, you have the choice. Then you either take the hit, or there's 3 choices. You take the hit, you just say no and say, sorry, I can't take the hit. And if you don't want to pay more, then we'll have to cancel the deal. And yeah, it's a little ding against you if you're canceling for another reason, but I cancel. And the reason I cancel is issue with a shipping address on eBay. And eBay doesn't ding you or give you a default if there's a problem with the shipping address. So so far it's worked for us. I mean, yeah, eBay does let you set up a shipping table, but it's still, you're never going to know when someone's in the middle of the Brazilian jungle and they decide that they must have something.
They want the Mark's Mountains playset like this big.
Lisa says, I just take the hit. Sherry says, that's why I do calculated. Yeah, that's true. I'm going to go on now just to flip places. We'll come back to some other stuff that Carl and I sold. But I'm going to go on to Adrian's sort of story of January. So basically, Well, the easiest way to put it is this is a combination. This is a story about a boy and a boy who found an auction site called Max Sold. And this is just some of the stuff that Adrian does. He sources a lot, and I'll give it up to him to go talk a little bit about Max Sold.
Max Sold could be a great place to source stuff. It really can. You just have to take a gamble now and again. Every now and again you get dinged, but then you get lots like this.
The first lot I'll show is I've got the one thing there. Let me see. There's first Max Sold lot that you have in here.
Okay,
this is.
It's a bunch of board games, yeah, $18 I paid for that, which was a little more than I'd hoped to pay, but that was actually my max bid, and I accept my max bids and walk away. But I knew there was stuff in there that I could piece out and sell for decent money, and if some of those games are complete, then they're good. Some garbage like the Trivial Pursuit that went straight back to Value Village, but the globe is a globe of the moon, and it's a unique item.
Oh wow!
It's a mid-century Replogle 6-inch authentic lunar metal globe of the moon. It's literally designed in between the Apollo crash of the remote thing and then the landing site of the impending manned mission to the moon. And so it's literally a snapshot in time of the moon. And it was for the first time that the moon had been photographed all the way around. And so the globe is actually using photographs taken by the spacecraft we put out there. So for space people, big deal. It's got some scratches and some stains to it. It's not perfect, but I figured I'd put it out there and boom, like that.
Looks nice and small, so it's not a pain in the butt.
No, it's big.
Yeah, okay, that's good. I remember once I shipped a big globe, and it was like, oh my god.
So already on my $18 investment Canadian,
yeah.
I paid that back 4 times over.
Elisa is requesting
games yet.
Elisa is requesting that you say moon.
Moon.
As she fans herself.
Moon. But how do I say it? I don't know. It's the moon.
I don't know, but I think she just exploded.
Those are one of my favorite Max Sold lots actually to buy is when there's a whole bunch of stuff like that.
Yes.
Because often it's like, okay, there's a few, like I can see 3 board games in there that are good right off the top.
Yep, me too.
And most people don't want everything. So often those have worked really well for me too.
Boom. Next one is just like a little one. Oh, I clicked too far on that one. But this was from a Max Sold lot too, wasn't it? Oh no, yes. This is your Max Sold lot. This is a Max Sold.
This is a Max Sold item. A single item I bought. The only item I bought from that Max Sold. I saw this Lady the Tramp music box, and I saw it was going for next to nothing. And I know there are multiple versions of this music box, and this is the one that is harder to find. You can differentiate them by the size of the base, and this one has a large gray stone base. The other one, and it plays the song La Bella Notte, which is the song playing in the background while they eat the spaghetti together. And so I wanted to put a video in here, but I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I didn't put it in. But still, I bought it for $5.79 Canadian.
Wow!
And then I sold it for $50 American.
That's great.
Yeah, and also there were 2 bids on it, and it went right away. I mean, it was just, I put it up, and I had both bids right away. It didn't go beyond that, but I was fine with that. I always put the bid of what I'm happy to let it go for, right?
Yeah, and so there's 2 things there. One, you're using the structure that I've set out as how you should do an auction on eBay, which is setting an amount that you hope you can, like, that you're comfortable with getting as your minimum auction price. And that's how Adrian is doing on this. And then the other thing that he could have done, which now you can, if you look on the craft group, there is a video we built this week.
Yes, I know. On
how to put a video into your eBay listing if you're in Canada, because and in the States, because it's a little tricky for people to do it for both. But Etsy's great. You use your phone, you film 15 seconds, and you're done. But eBay Canada and eBay US, it's a little weird on how you have to add a video in. So yeah, it would have been great, but you got your bid, so you're happy with the bids that you got.
That's right.
Now, here's the biggie that literally is the bane of my existence, and he will explain why.
Okay, so this lot again is from the same one with the board game, same auction, and it's in Hamilton. And I happen to be going there to meet a friend for lunch. Anyway,
Hamilton is an hour and a half from where Adrian lives, opposite end of the city.
But I was already going there to see Stella for lunch, right? And so since this was ending, that a pickup was that day, and I saw this guy, and that's Oscar Goldman from the $6 Million Man. And I thought, well, there's $40, $50 right there. And so I'll bid on it. And so I looked at the Chrissy doll, whatever that blonde doll is, and and Craig and Rick happened to be over, and I said, "Hey, what do you think I should bid on this, Craig? I bid $21. Think I should go any higher?" He goes, no, it's like a bunch of junk. And I said, okay, well, I said, because it looks like there's broken dolls, rag dolls, puppets, and there's random stuff in there. But I thought, you know what? I'm gonna take a bid, and I bid $21, and I walked away, and I won it.
Broken, yeah, but as you say, like broken fingers, stained and ripped dolls.
Yeah. So there were two totes and a couple of loose things piled around it that made up the lot, and they were jammed full of stuffed toys and dolls and puppets and weird games like that. I have this on my desk. I keep trying to solve it, and it's not happening for me. But the fun part was, I got home and I tried to unpack it to see what was in this thing, and I got to the bottom of the box, and at the very bottom of both of the tubs, I found 38 fashion dolls, vintage fashion dolls from the 60s and 70s, mostly Barbie, but like Francie and Skipper and Ken and so forth, but also a doll that you've heard about from Craig before, the doll with nipples, who's Mary Poppins.
Excited Mary Poppins.
Excited Mary Poppins. And a bunch of other, like a Maddie Maud dolls and other dolls I've never heard about. And Craig literally had to come over and say, this is who this is. And he's like, he's furious. He's not furious. He's like, damn it.
Yeah. Like, those are so good. It's like, my best monster too is like, didn't show everything.
Yeah.
But the treasure was at the bottom.
Bid on this. He goes, no, it's garbage. So I'm going to bid $21 and see what happens.
Yeah. That's right. He keeps reminding me about it, and it was 31 with the taxes and everything on top of that. So I keep it's like, oh, you're gonna. What else have you sold this week from your $31 bag? Well, let's just show. We want to show you, because this is what this was literally completely unexpected. What he bought it for was $21.
Yeah.
In order to get this.
Yeah, I bought him Oscar. Some with $50.
But there was also this.
Francie. $90.
And this.
That is a Marlowe Thomas flip bendable leg busy mod era twist and turn Barbie wearing a Busy Hands outfit, all of which I would not know if I didn't know Craig. $100.
Crazy.
And this.
Mary Poppins with bad hair and missing her shoes and most of her outfit.
That doesn't look like Mary Poppins at all.
Well, if you go up to the black and white picture, Craig, you'll see what she's supposed to look like in the box.
And there's her nipples.
There's her nipples.
Yeah.
But she's supposed to look like that black and white image. But I got $70. She went to Australia, and the woman who got her, it arrived very quickly, and she's like, she's in love with the doll. She said she's been searching for this doll for years. And it's so beautiful, and she's so happy.
Oh, that's
and
so fun.
She gave me like a paragraph of feedback, all like glowing, positive, like how much in love she is with the doll, and how much the service was, and how well packed it was. And it was like, you can't write this feedback. It was amazing.
Well, so that's just good too. Feels really good.
What it is there was a Mary Poppins doll that was made in the States, but there's a Canadian version, and it's something any Canadian. It basically looks like a Tammy doll.
Yeah.
So the Tammy doll, which was made by Ideal, they came out with a Mary Poppins. This is the Canadian version by Reliable Canada, and it has nipples. Like, its breasts are not smooth. And so that is a huge thing for Tammy collectors, for Mary Poppins collectors, and things like that. And unfortunately, I mean, this person did this. That is the original Tammy dress. They decided to make their own version of the
American one.
Yeah. Of the apron.
I was wondering about that. It's like,
The American doll has an apron that has Mary Poppins with a stencil on it, like that, like printed on it.
Yeah,
so they
it's not done like that. Which looks kind of like it was done by Freddy Krueger. It's kind of like, oh look, there's the blood version of.
If that doll was complete though, and like had her coat and her hat and her shoes and her umbrella, that's a $200 doll.
Wow!
Right. So keep an eye out for it, people.
And the funniest thing was, a week after he sold that, what did I find in my local Value Village? A Mary Poppins nipple doll, or by Rose. In a baggie for $3.99.
Fantastic.
So, naked though, but I think I actually have an extra dress for her because I have a couple of those things down. So with that sort of flip, Adrian, you actually ended up taking a $31 buy, and with that $31 buy, what did you flip it into?
I sent an email. The total. I only gave you 4 of the things I sold, but I sold more than 4. I had the total somewhere. I don't know where I put it. I sent it to you in the email. Do you have it?
I just thought you remember what you said.
I don't remember. Sorry.
It was close to $1,000.
Correct.
No,
That's just from a small number of Barbie dolls. That's not from the rest. And in there's baby dolls. There's Barbie doll, like McCall's fashion sewing kit things. There's like this incredible amount of stuff in there. There's a Chatty Cathy's baby brother who still makes noise, but if that's talking, I don't know what the hell that is. It sounds like he's possessed. But so I'm going to make a lot of money off this lot because I really touched the surface. I still have the most expensive doll listed. She's listed at $224, and that's the American girl with the butter lips. She's up again, and I have another fashion queen that's up, and I have I had 2 more dolls that were booked by it now. Went this week, so February I'll have more dolls to show you if you want.
Andrew has just said, just sell the totes on Facebook Marketplace, and you'll get the money back.
Yeah. I picked up a Maxold, and the only reason I bid on it $1 is because, well, I'll get the tote. It's like the big bin was worth $1.
We've done that a few times with books that we didn't want. Like I had some Christmas catalogs, and I actually I thought I was getting 2 shelves of the bookshelf. And then when we walked in, they went, and here's your bookshelf. It was like, no, not the bookshelf. She goes, oh no, not the bookshelf. Every book that's on the bookshelf is yours. I was like, oh shit. Yeah. And it was in a basement, and Rick and I were dragging bags and boxes of these heavy, heavy books, and they were literally worth nothing. I paid $1 for the entire lot, only to get the catalogs. I've also left something behind. There was one Maxwell we went to where we bought some stuff, and I wanted these games, and they didn't clearly state that the wooden shelving that was in this basement hovel was also part of the buy.
Oh, really?
And as we're leaving the door of the place, they said, you forgot the shelves. I said, no, you can keep them. They were like, no, and we jumped in the car.
Yeah, I can see that can be annoying for them if they're trying to clear the house out. Yeah, my first big buy was a bunch of books for $1 too. It's kind of funny. I don't think it had any value, but it's like $1.
We actually pulled, I think, 20 cookbooks out of the lot and sold those for around 100, 150. But all the rest just became donate and get a coupon. Donate and get a coupon.
Coupons, yeah.
Somebody did ask in here, I think it was actually Kendra, Allison, about Maxold. Maxold's in a number of different cities. It's big in Ontario, Vancouver, Boston, I think Atlanta. There's a few other markets, LA. It's not in every city, but HiBid is a competitor to them, and that's just individuals. A lot of times it's resellers like us. We're preparing 2 Maxolds right now. And they just do their own sales, and they set them up on their own platform. So HiBid is a platform that you can do. So take a look at HiBid.com and look in your area, and you may find a lot of these kind of things. And that's the thing. I mean, Adrian's big comment on this was making a risk on a box for $21 because you knew
Oscar,
and you were like, I can spend $21 and I'm not going to lose money on Oscar. But you did not expect.
No. I was literally shaking. I was shaking, thinking, "Oh my God, what's Craig going to say?"
Run to the car, get in the car.
And we were away in the States. Actually, I think and Adrian was taking care of Doug, and he sent us pictures while we were away going, don't be mad, but what is this? I'm like, what the hell is all this? This is the lot you told me that you wouldn't bother bidding on. I was like,
that's even better. You just remind them once in a while, hey, remember that big lot I bought?
Don't worry. I do remind them still all the time. It's only been 2 months.
Just before we leave it, though, I want to say one thing. I would not have had the sales I have without Craig's expertise. And so for anyone who's doesn't know anything about dolls, Craig has so much doll stuff crammed into his head. Like he can really help you out. I would not have got what I got. Like I could name the outfits that the doll was wearing, and I put them in to sell because he knew what they were. Didn't have to look them up. He just said, "Oh, that's It's a Date. Oh, that's this. That's Busy Shopper. That's whatever." I was like, "Okay, cool." So it literally made my researching to sell these things so fast. So thank you, Craig. You really are a star.
Oh, thank you. Well, no, and again, part of the thing we always say with people in the Kennel Club is if you do join the Kennel Club, you're paying $2.99 a month. We have people like Heather who sends me messages all the time going, this is coming up in this upcoming toy auction. What do you think of it? And I have no problem at all, especially like for Kennel Club people to actually look at messages to me, tell them, watch this, take a deeper look at that, check the price. This could be worth that sort of thing. So that's an extra benefit of actually being a member of the Kennel Club is you get to message me and ask me those kind of questions when you see that kind of stuff. Adrian gets to ask because he's literally like, we're over at his house, but he did. We went upstairs. When we dropped Doug off that night, we went upstairs and he showed me that lot and said, oh, look. And I went, 21. Yeah, that's about the most I'd pay. So, yes, Craig's big head.
I love your smile.
Thank you so much.
Your smile.
Thank you. It's true. It can be a while between good max sold buys. That's true. But you know, Lisa's saying there's high bid and iCollect. That's another one that's there. So it's just a way to think about stuff. If you find a big lot of something, like Adrian did there, it's like consider looking at that and going, this would have been worth $21? Maybe I know some people were like, oh my God, the Chrissy doll. That might have been worth $21 to somebody. The tiny chatty baby may have been worth some money. So that's what I was looking at. But you can't even, the other stuff that's in here, I was like, ew. And honestly, there is some stuff in there that was like, ew.
Yeah.
There were Satan dolls for sure. There were possessed things. There were things that looked like.
They wrapped a lot of the baby dolls in plastic bags, and the dolls got sticky and sweaty inside of them. They were really gross.
Yeah.
And thank God I took them out and they dried out just fine. A couple of the dolls had this white powder on their eyes, which was really creepy looking. They look like demon children. But even those dolls, I'm going to put them into groups of lots, and then I'm actually going to put them in the max sold and sell them as lots and just get rid of them that way because I already made my money back in spades on this lot.
I want to know more with you, lady. It's like I want to know more about the Satan dolls.
Yeah. No, I know she would actually want to know more. They were just like, yeah, Annalisa, just possessed stuff. Well, the thing is, you might leave them that way and sell them that way. You never know.
That's not doing a lot of work with them.
So next, what I want to do is because again, I asked in our craft group. So we went to our Canadian resellers and Fantastic Thrifters group, and what we did was we asked our group. Let me preface this with this sort of thing. So the next part of this video is going to be all about sales in January that have been done by some amazing members of the Canadian Resellers and Fantastic Thrifters group, also known as the Crazy Resellers and Fantastic Thrifters group on Facebook. We put a call out at the beginning of the month, or no, actually just the weekend before this, and said, tell us about some interesting things that you sold. And the response to the stuff was amazing. We had some really amazing stuff that people ended up showing us. And again, some of it was interesting from the thing I love. The reason that we do this show is because there's so many things that you may learn or think about that you didn't think about before. So like the sealed puzzle that Carl sold, or even the open one, you might have thought, I don't do puzzles. Hey, thanks, Hydron. Thanks so much for joining us. And the Kennel Club, yay! That's something that you could go, I didn't think about that. Well, this group of stuff that sold literally, like my head was ready to explode on the amount of amazingly funky things. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're like $500 items, although there's a couple in there that I literally flipped over. So that's what we're going to go now through. We're going to go through the things that people found in our group that they told us about that they purchased. So so the first person I'm going to go to who said he didn't have a great time this past month in his sales, Joel, who's in the chat here. Joel showed us a couple of things that he ended up picking up, and I have to look at these and go, I'm still going, this is amazing. So yeah, Joel picked up a water pick. Again, some people might even not think about picking up something like this because it's like, oh, who would want an original flexible? Well, somebody did, and they paid $99 for it. Not only that, Tide Rollerball liquid detergent dispenser.
Yeah, I think I've actually heard of that weird one before, but the first one, yeah, I know. They're both great.
Two.
Yeah.
He had two of them. And he found these at the local Value Village. This is one that I just got a biggest kick out of, though. I couldn't believe it. I don't know if people who remember and love their old TV shows, they are fanatics. And I didn't know there was this many fanatics behind this, but look at how much he sold this Sister DVD box set for.
Oh my God. For real?
$165.
I have passed that by like before. I walked past that and gone, oof.
Yeah, I wouldn't even check it.
I didn't call it either. No way.
Now he did pay up. He did buy it for $49.
Still great.
But it was a sealed set, and he sold it for $49 Canadian and sold it for $165 US. So just as an FYI, the shower head, $9.99 that sold for $95, and the Tide liquid balls, $2 at Goodwill. So look out for your balls. What I'm sure I can spit for those liquid balls. Now, this is the next one. Not sealed. Sorry, it wasn't sealed. It's the one you pass on. It's like, yes, I passed on that. That's very true. Lots of good money in DVDs, especially obscure stuff too. That is the wild thing. It's like Allison's saying, there is a bounce dryer thing that sells close to $100.
Yeah,
and the thing I always talk about, which we still sell, we just sold the liquid from it, the power washer, the automatic shower gel power washer thing, the scrubbing bubbles.
Yeah,
we found this scrubbing bubble shower thing multiple times, and half the time the people who get it doesn't work. But a lot of times when you find it, it comes with the 2 big bottles of the cleaner.
Yeah,
and you can't buy it; it's discontinued. And we just sold 2 bottles of cleaner for like $50.
Yeah, it's old bolo, but it's still a good bolo. Yeah.
Especially, somebody who uses them, loves them, and wants to keep doing something with them. Mm-hmm. Next one is actually, I'm pretty sure this is from Lisa Boland. This is actually one of hers, and it is, I forgot to click there. This beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Sold on Etsy. Thomas Forster Argus Peacock Vase. Now, beautiful. I looked at the bad thing is, I didn't realize that this was a peacock. I looked at it and I thought, what an interesting muddy design. And then I read it and went, oh, it's a peacock. But I didn't actually notice that.
That's great.
And it's only 5 inches tall.
Oh.
Wow. That's a little peacock.
Really? That's crazy.
Now, here's a question, Lisa, because this is something it's interesting. You didn't put the 5 inches in the actual title. I just wonder, oh, good. She didn't see the peacock originally either. Okay. And neither did Elisa. See, I'm not the only person who didn't see it. But I'm just wondering why was it conscious? You decided not to? Because if that's such a small vase, I would have been worried that people would have thought it was a big thing. And I note that you have got it down here that it says 5 inches, but it's not in the actual title. I usually put something, I usually put that in the title of something, especially on the size of something. So
I usually take one picture with a ruler if it's something that might be a little, you might not realize the size of it.
Yeah, and she did put a video in as well, but I'm not on the Etsy link. You can actually see. Where did it go? You can actually see on the listing that there is a video up here. So she did a 15-second video. It is on, so it's on a really nice rotation. So you could see that in the 15 seconds. You don't have sound with Etsy, but you can easily do it from the phone. Sometimes using a can for size. Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, great flip.
I used a Bic lighter.
Bic lighter, can. Next is something that Heather, now there's two things. So Heather, who's here, sold something that I thought was really funky, which is, let me just, here we go. This really, really funky red pitcher. I think this is gorgeous.
I would keep that one. Yeah.
I love the handle on that.
Yeah.
And it's Dansk. And she sold it for $89.
Nice.
Which is a really nice price. Now, here's the interesting thing, though. She also told us about the fact that during the month, Bob, who is watching with her, meant to send out an item with an offer for $10 and put 1 and forgot the 0. So he ended up, we were talking about little mistakes that we make. Like, he ended up sending a $1 offer out to somebody who accepted it. So they, instead of a $10 offer.
Oops. That's weird.
So, yeah, I just thought that was interesting to see. Let's see who we got here. This is, it's just, again, I love these interesting kind of things because I would look at this and probably pass it by. A little clay Jewish rabbi.
Oh, no, that stuff sells.
This is the thing that I just don't think. I know personally, I don't think about, like the Jesus statue, right, that Rick found that we sold. That Carl had sort of been the preface for us looking for this, but I've seen a lot more, and I'm looking for more of these now.
Yeah.
But this little guy sold for $24.
If you ever come across a Tevye from Fiddler on the Roof, those go for crazy money. Crazy money.
A Tevye, because the actual Tevye.
Tevye's the character, the main character in Fiddler on the Roof.
So this was Janet London Wire's little sale.
Nice.
Lots of smalls, she said, but oy vey, do they add up? Next one is a really interesting, and it's Elisa's, even though she said she didn't have the greatest one. Take a look at this. Audubon Society North American Field Guide lot of 6 almanacs.
Nice.
All 6 almanacs, $50. You got them at a book sale, library book sale, for under $10. So again, it's not the sort of thing that you'd think, oh, this is maybe something you go out, will this actually be worth us buying for $2 a piece or something like that, or $1 a piece? It's a $50 flip, and it's flipped on Poshmark. So people think, oh, Poshmark's only clothing. This is done on Poshmark.com in the US. That sort of, they branched out. They do more home and toys and things like that. They may not be known for it, but it's interesting that this is the sort of thing that she somehow managed. And I love this picture. There it is on a scale. So that it actually shows that it's a 7.18 ounces. Now, the interesting thing again, and Rick actually just asked the question there, does Poshmark have a medium mail shipping rate? Because Poshmark, people are actually paying Poshmark a flat rate. So I'm not sure how they actually work that out. So Elisa, you might be able to tell us there. And she got positive feedback. It is flat. It's still the flat rate, according to Lisa. Next one up, he's not in here. Jeff Roblin is, he actually buys a lot on Max Sold for himself, but he is huge in the automotive trade. And we've never been somebody who's like automotive focused, but when you take a look at some of the stuff like this, Stu Gibb actually did lots of automotive stuff. I just think some of this stuff just blows my mind. This is I don't even know what this is. A diesel tachometer retrofit kit that he got bid $1,200 US for.
Wow.
Now, I see little car parts every once in a while in thrift stores, and it makes me think maybe I should be looking a little closer on these.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Lux Super Taillights, $300.
If you're good at this stuff, I think it's the #1 selling thing on eBay.
Yeah, it is. That's why they always talk about it on all the.
I have sold car parts, but they were given to me by a friend who said, "I got these vintage car parts. I don't want them anymore. I'm moving away. Can you get rid of them for me?" So I put them on, and I made about $800 over the course of 2 months with it. But I didn't know what I was selling. I literally just typed in what I thought it was, and put it in at $9.99, and away it went.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I always wondered if you need more specialty tools for that sort of thing. Like I know, like the radios and things like that. But
I think Jeff does. I know Stu Gibb does this. And Chris from down in the States, can't remember his last name at the moment, but they actually go to like junkyards and strip the cars down.
Oh wow, yeah, I knew someone who did
for
that.
Pieces like door handles and ashtrays and things like that to flip because there's so many people, especially on when you're getting to the older cars.
Yeah.
It sort of goes back to almost that demographic thing we talked about a couple of weeks ago, showing you how different people are. The cars that are in the 70s and 80s and 90s and things like that, they are not like the cars of today. And to find those parts, people cherish those cars that are like the car they've had since the 1980s, and they still want to drive it. So,
EMP.
Now, this is one that I always say you should look out for, and I think a lot of people pass them by because people think about quilts. They go, okay, quilts are one thing, but this is an amazing one. This is not the quilt. This is a quilt pattern, right? Nothing special, just like a pattern called Casablanca. Well, Tina Pesh bought it off of Facebook for $40.
Wow.
Sold it 6 hours later for $229.
Well, I don't even know if I'd look at that.
And it's going to Australia.
Wow.
So what's the key here? Why is this so special?
It's a quilt and the fabric to make the quilt top.
Oh, and okay, and the fabric. Okay.
Oh, it is the fabric on that as well. No, pattern. Yeah, it's the pattern.
And
is it magical?
Yeah. Why? I need to know more. I need to know more.
Now we've actually found quilt patterns. We found quilt pattern pieces and things like that. And here's the reason: this designer has retired and closed her brick and mortar store.
Okay.
So it's going to Australia, as I said. So it's like wild, but within hours, like Tina spotted this on Facebook Marketplace and knew she could flip it for $150 within hours of picking it up.
I've done that with Megas.
It's just it looks like a portal to another dimension. It actually kind of does, doesn't it? Next one up. These are interesting. Again, some of this just blows me away with what people have got. Tanya Cabello, this new tarot deck. We've always talked about tarot decks.
Love them. Yeah.
And I don't know why I guess that's the name of it, is the new tarot deck, Le Psycho Tarot. It's in French.
Yeah.
So it's Le Psycho Tarot. And she bought it for $1.
Yeah.
And she accepted she did accept the best offer of $110.
Yeah.
But as Heather said when she saw this post, it's like, Tanya, did you see $100 in your future when you saw this one specific thing? But she also, another fabulous find, bought at a Munich flea market, 3 signs purchased for €5. 3 German beer signs. So she paid €5 and sold for $92.
And they're going to Kitchener Waterloo.
Possibly, but she could have bought more. She says, "I wish I'd bought more. I really wish I'd bought more." So
those are nice.
So again, really wildly interesting things. Now, some stuff doesn't necessarily make people that thrilled, but I mean, Stephanie Emma, who posts sometimes in the craft group, she does post on what's sold each month and little finds that she has with her sister and her brother. Have things. This is just an odd sale. She says, nothing to brag about. I actually found a throwaway button in a pencil case. So I decided to list it. And it's Joey McIntyre. And she ended up getting $20.
Hey. That's great.
For a throwaway Joey McIntyre large button that she sold for $20. I think this is on her Etsy, and it's going to Michigan. It's on her Etsy store. Next one over is, these were wild. This is, I don't have great pictures of them, unfortunately, but Sev Gravador just showed us a couple things. This is a Marc Jacobs Crystal Spirit Decanter that he sold for $395. See if I can get the picture a little bit bigger, because I didn't have the proper link for it, which is gorgeous. But this is the one that blew me away. This sculpture, signed Eric Turniff Bird in Flight sculpture. That is amazing. Like that, Rick would have bought that in seconds.
Yeah.
Driftwood.
Like,
it's driftwood, isn't it? Like polished driftwood.
It looks.
Oh no, maybe not.
No. And like you almost missed the signature if you weren't.
Yeah.
Made in Canada too.
Canada.
Nice.
So, and you can see that the base has got a couple of little flaws to it down here, a little chip here or there. But again, $887 on Etsy.
Well done.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Yay!
That's a huge one. So again, there's so much stuff that we saw that was just like unbelievable in terms of how much they sold and where they sold it. This is Lisa Wallace just sold these. This is one of her big sales. She does these all the time. Corning, the Vision Classics. So Fireside. I see these. Rick won't let me touch them. So yeah, shipping on that last one. That's the question. How do you ship that? Like very carefully.
Yeah.
It's called styrofoam pellets.
Pool noodles, you name it, all sorts of different things. Yeah. Hate shipping Visionware. There's Rick's comment. Down at Visionware. And this next one, and I'm trying to remember exactly whose this one is. This is, where is this one? This is Kathy Wilson had, and again, beautiful. And this is the other thing, is we're seeing stuff that is from different platforms. This is from Etsy, another Etsy sale. So people are always wondering, it's like, do things sell on Etsy? Yes, and some kinds they sell for more money on Etsy. And again, this is one of the things I'm always talking about. The crossless magic idea is something that is just unbelievable. If you're an Etsy person and you have an eBay store, or an eBay person with an Etsy store, or a Poshmark person, it's so easy to cross list. Take a look at the video that we've got in our listing here. Just search crossless magic under Two Dogs Digs and you'll find it. It's free for 7 days. And if you use the code Two Dogs Digs, it's 50% off. So it's only $5 a month for 3 months. So you can try for basically $15 for 3.5 months. You can try just clicking on stuff. There's a couple of really wild things that you can even do with it, because the biggest challenge with crossless magic is how you get some, like how you, for some people is, I wish I could do that Etsy listing. I wish I could do something with that. There's the little crossless magic note right up here. You can see the little papers. That's what they look like. This is crossless magic installed on my desktop. If I click on this, I will create, well, not right now, of course, right in the middle of me trying to do it. I normally will create a version of my own draft from it. You can't, it's difficult to create the draft from a sold listing, but if you see someone else's listing on Etsy, you can create your own Etsy listing or eBay listing.
Wow.
So it's like selling similar onto yours. You can build it by using that to do the equivalent of sell similar, and there's no way to do that I know of on Etsy. This is one, I think, one of the most interesting sales that I think that we have to. I mean, there's a lot of amazing things on there, but this one was sort of the topper for me. Margaret Kresslinger said this was her first and probably her best sale of the year. It was found in a deck of cards at a pile of junk at an estate sale. So it's a deck of cards. There was a desk full of these random things. I paid less than $1. I listed this for $450 and sold a deck of unopened Carson City Nugget playing cards. She took an offer of $299.
Good for her. Well done.
So it's like taking an offer of $299. It's like that's not a bad thing to end up doing.
That's really good.
Easy to ship. Oh my God,
and very easy to ship.
Yeah.
Now, before we go, the couple of things I do have to show a giant shout out to Carl for another one of his sales. This is something that Rick will be so proud of. Look at what Carl sold.
Hey. Yes, thank you, Rick. This is like for people who don't remember, Rick and I
Hey,
had
Carl.
he would do his cookie jar of a Halloween, and I would do my vase. So we guilted each other into actually doing this, and both of them are now sold and out.
Well done.
It worked. Totally worked.
$467. But now look behind Carl. He has replaced the vase with another vase.
Yeah, not quite the same value, but
yeah, hopefully it won't stay there anywhere near as long as.
No, the vase is there for a year, at least a year and a half. But I was like, I liked it. It was displayed. Now my display is gone, and now I have to replace it.
I will show you one other that we actually sold, and I just want to show you again when you learn about something and you start thinking, "Oh, I know what something is." This was an interesting thing. Rick and I had to go drop Doug off to get grooming, and we had to sort of drive for an hour and a half because he doesn't take long to groom because his hair doesn't grow, and then go back. So we went to the closest Goodwill, and it's an overpriced Goodwill. It's just terrible overpriced Goodwill. And I think you sold that on eBay, right, Carl?
On eBay, yeah.
Carl never learns. And we saw that we walked the whole thing. We did not find anything. And as we were leaving, you go to the set in the Goodwills that are near us. We have most of them used to have live auctions, and they don't anymore. But they have these glass cases where they put all the expensive stuff. So this is what we spotted as we got up to there. We spotted this, and this was this case, and you can see it's like filled with all sorts of stuff in there, right? Nothing impressive. And then we see that little tiny box. This is how far away it was, and this is when you know what you can spot. This is a Sally Stanley smocking pleater. The worst name for anything that I can possibly think of is a Sally. I keep wanting to say Sally Stanley smocking pleater. This little guy, we said, "Can we see that, please?" And the girl picked it up and handed it to us. It was $9.99. And we bought it and we listed it. And a day later, we sold it for $225.
Nice. Congrats. That's really good.
Well now, I used to tell a story. This was one of my stories from about a year and a half ago. I followed a woman around a store who had one of these, and she kept looking at it. Then she sat down with it, and she was with her husband, and I followed her for a half an hour. I was hiding behind like shelves going, "Put it back. You don't want the Stanley steamer or the smocking pleater, whatever the hell it is." And I just gave up after half an hour. And I went and did some other stuff. And then for some reason, I don't know why, I decided at 7 o'clock that night to go back to the same store. And she put it back on the shelf.
Yay!
And I bought it. That's the only reason I knew what the heck this was.
Yeah.
Sitting in a box on the floor of a thing. Because who else would spot that?
I think I spotted it, didn't I?
The two of us, we both went, "Oh, smocking pleater." I tried not to be too excited when the staff was like, "You want this?"
And your hands are shaking. Let me just take a look.
That was a little start the car moment too. So, so amazing stuff that we've seen sold here. A big thanks to Adrian and Carl for sharing some of their stuff. Adrian with his fabulous Max sold $31 doll sales. Which will be the bane of his. He's going to keep reminding me of it too, though. It's not just that. It's like a couple of times, even in the past month, I've said something to him and I go, "You're still not mad about that." It's like because you couldn't see those dolls in the box. No one would have bid on them. No one would have expected that. Thanks so much, Cena. But yeah, thumbs up if you can. Stop smocking me. Next week, we're going to be back with one of our favorite shows that a lot of people love, which is being part of it. It's the Thrift It or Throw It show. We're going to have a bunch of stuff that we found at thrift stores to ask you whether you would buy this or wouldn't. It's always fun to see what some people would do. Hopefully, you found some things that you never thought you'd look at before, either looking at a site like MaxSold or HiBid or iCollect and going, you know what, I'll buy that lot because there's one thing that I think I might be able to flip and end up getting something out of it that's even more than that. And stuff to donate if you don't, and as long as you're making your money back, or you put a vase up that you've been sitting on for a year and a half and then make like $400 on it. Because if you want, show us a picture of it on the craft group, and then I'll have Rick bug you about it, and then maybe
no clothing.
Otherwise, it is our the one thing we are doing this month, which is our challenge to list and sell 20 items from either your profit pile or things that have been sitting around. So I'll give you another example. This is something we're going to be doing tonight. We have a Cinderella that is a what is it, Rick? Jim Shore Cinderella in a box. We bought it last summer. We've tried to put it at a good price. We thought it was a good price. We got, I think right now it's about $129. I'm pulling the listing down. We paid $20 for it. I don't want it anymore. I'm going to put that listing up for $75, $30 or $40 less than the other people who have it listed for. I'm hoping I'm going to flip it in seconds, and I'm going to get that $20 back so I can actually go out and get stuff out of my place.
We can do the same thing with the Puff the Magic Dragon.
And we'll do that with the Puff the Magic Dragon too. So again, thanks to everybody for joining us here on our What's Sold in January. And hopefully we'll see you back either in the craft group, part of the challenge, or we'll see you Tuesday for Thrift It or Throw It. Woof.
See you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
A big thanks again to Shannon and Hydron for joining us here in the Kennel Club.
Yay! Bye.